Passion, and I'm back with another video. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about being a single mother. So first and foremost, the reason why I'm doing this video is because being a single parent can be embarrassing, for one. For two, in my situation, my son is not my husband's biological father. So I really wanted to do this video because I'm sure it's a lot of women going through the same thing. You know, if things didn't work out with your child's father or kid's father, you moved on to another relationship and you might be in the same situation. So long story short on that aspect, my son's father and I haven't been together in years, pretty much his whole life, and my son is 7 years old now. And my husband, I've known him before I met my son's father. We were in a relationship before I met my son's father, but we weren't married. And during the time period of that, us not being together, that's when I met my son's father. We were in a relationship, we had a baby, you know, etc., etc. It didn't work out, and I reconnected with my now husband. So we weren't together when I had my son, none of that. We weren't married, none of that. And my son's father is not in the picture. He's not responsible, so that's as much as I will say about that. He's just not responsible on his part, so he's not in the picture because of him, not me. So I just wanted to get that out the air, and talk to you, the women, about, you know, if you're going through the same thing I'm going through. My husband has been in my son's life, I want to say, since he was 2. And if you don't know, you're new to my channel, my husband is incarcerated. So he's been incarcerated for that whole period. And we go see him, you know, he's in my son's life. So the father figure that my son knows is not his biological father, it's my husband, which is his father. That's who he knows as his dad. Excuse me, but I also had a talk with my son. He has talked to his biological father before. He knows that that's his stepdad. He does know that. So we got that clear. Some people don't want to talk to their kids about that, but I try to be honest all the way around the board. And when my son gets old enough to understand, then we can go into further detail about that. But so even though I am married and my husband is a father figure to my son, I am still a single parent. You know, I live in a household with just me and my son. The bills, you know, as far as that aspect, going to work, doing the school thing, picking up from school, daycare, everything to that sort is pretty much what I'm going to be talking about. So now we got all of that out the way. So when I say I'm a single parent, I mean physically I'm a single parent. As far as my husband being in jail, we do go visit him. So my son has seen him in person, been around him, and, you know, things like that, family visits and etc., etc. But being a single mother can be very, very hard and stressful. I would say, like I said, my husband has been in my son's life since he was 2. So the first 2 years I was single. I wasn't in a relationship. My husband has been the first relationship that I've been in since I had my son, even though me and him been in a relationship before, but still. I haven't been with anyone else besides my son's father, and then went back to my husband. So I would say that it's challenging, it's stressful, sometimes it's depressing, some days you just, you know, it's just so overwhelming that you just want to give up, you know, because it's so much. You really have to be there for every single thing 24 hours. And sometimes I do get help from my mom or my in-laws. They do help me as much as they can, but even then, 9 times out of 10, I'm 24/7 hands-on with my son. I wake up in the morning. If you guys watch my vlogs, you see I'm with my son to make sure everything is taken care of for him. When I go to sleep at night, everything is done for my son. So sometimes it can be depressing in the beginning stages of being an infant, toddler stage, you know, going through the baby being sick, these hospital runs, and you're doing everything all alone. It's tiring. Even now, you know, I'm not a perfect parent. I'm still growing, but I know that I'm a good mother. What else? Financially, you know, it's hard being in a a one-parent household. Even though you are in a relationship, you have to, you know, do all this working. Your kids are at daycare, getting picked up, you know, from school for the daycare, from the daycare, different things that happen at school, you know, involving other kids, your kids getting hurt. It's just like, oh my goodness, it's just so much. It feels like sometimes the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But what I will say is that I don't regret being a mother. I don't regret the situation that I'm in. I, of course, wish that it would be better. But I chose to be with someone in prison. For one, I didn't choose for my son's biological father not to be responsible, but I don't regret it at all. I love my son through the ups and downs, through the times I had to spank his behind or put him on timeout, or you know, whatever the case may be. I don't regret it at all. I love my son, and honestly, before I had him, just thinking about it now, I really don't know where I would be. God put him in my life, I believe, for a reason. Seriously, I really don't know what road I would have went down if I didn't have my son dependent on me. And some, you know, some women around my age, or at the time I had my son, I got pregnant when I was 19. I had my son when I was 20. So a lot of people that I do know around my age are not responsible, or leaving the kids with their parent, or, you know, the parent is raising the child, you know, things to that sort. So at the time that I had my son, you know, I was young. I didn't have my own place yet, but whatever it was, I don't know what God, he knew what I needed, and I needed to have somebody else dependent on me. I got my license. I got me a place, you know. I already was working. I started working when I was a teenager, but that's another video. But my son pushes me to not give up. Them days that I want to give up, you know, he pushes me to keep on striving. Even going back to school. I went back to school. I already was in the process before I had my son, but having my son, now that he is in school, I felt like I was being a hypocrite by telling him how important education was, but I didn't finish high school. So he's a part of that reason. And my son was happy for me. You know, I would tell him when he would go to school, oh, I'm going to go study, or when we're at home, I'm studying on my computers, you know. So I was preaching what I was actually doing. I felt like if I was telling him to do something and I didn't do it, you know how kids look. I know how I looked at my parents. Like, okay, well, you didn't do this, or you went down this wrong road, or whatever the case may be. So going back to school for me, it was awesome. And I'm proud of myself for that. But my son really pushed me to do that. Like I said, God gave me him for a reason. I really don't know where my life would have been, seriously. So I pretty much just wanted to talk to you guys, really a heart-to-heart to the single parents out there, or the mothers in my situation. I'm not sure if the situation is your husband's incarcerated dealing with this, or, you know, whatever, just a blended family, you know. You're not alone. And the single parents who are still single, actually not in a relationship, you are not alone. I would say keep striving, you know, look at your babies, and use that as an inspiration to not give up, and keep, you know, going for your goals and doing the things that you need to do. I really accomplished things that I thought about doing, but I didn't know that I actually could do. And my son is really, really, really behind all of that. Wanting to make a better life for him has really helped me in my life progress since I've been an adult. And that's just flat out bottom line honesty. So yeah, so I hope that the things that I said, I probably will come back, because there's a lot of things to talk about being a single parent. So I might make another video on that, but I just wanted to touch bases with you guys and let you guys know that you are not alone. I feel for you. I commend you, single mothers out there. I really do. I know the struggle, girl, but you know, teamwork make the dream work. Let's do this together. I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.